Hello and welcome, fellow dorks, to another Drunk Dorks podcast. Today we have a special treat for you guys. Dirk Manning, who you may know as the author of Nightmare World, Tales of Mystery, among many other awesome comics, is joining us today. He's been on the show once before. He's coming back to hang out. So, hello again. It's been a while since we've gotten to see you. How have you been?
Busy. Which I guess shouldn't surprise anybody that keeps up with me online and stuff like that. But it's good to be back. Thank you guys so much. I'm really excited to be back on. I'm kind of crawling out of my self-imposed exile, and getting to chat with my friends again as I get ready to go on the road again. So thanks for having me back on. It's like a homecoming.
Yeah, of course. Anytime. Like, you can come hang out with us, vocally anytime. We're always here. So, okay, so you've been saying, or you just said that you've been really busy. Like, I've noticed online that you've been like doing signings pretty much. It seems like every week, like you're at a new place doing signings, new comic shops doing your thing. How many have you done recently? It seems like quite a bit.
I should probably count because it's been a lot. It was weird. I actually did almost a whole month off. I vowed what I was going to do was no show July, and I ended up doing one signing in July because July I had these grand visions of like, I'm going to take July and I'm not going to do any shows and I'm going to get all ahead on all this writing stuff I want to do, and I'm really going to start plowing into volume 3 of Tales of Mystery now that volume 2 is written, and work on this other stuff, and I'll do some stuff around the house, and I'll see people, and I'll do things. And July came around, and I just like curled up in a little ball, and just I was like a hedgehog, like a little like black suited hedgehog with perfect hair. And next thing I knew, it was the end of July, and I did a signing in Southern Ohio for some friends of mine at Pack Rat Comics. They do a Not at Comic Con mini signing convention thing at their store in Hilliard every year. And they asked me to come down. I went down there, did a panel with a good friend of mine, Victor Dandridge. And I say friend, I don't say it lightly. He's a good friend of mine. But he also, the end of last fall, I did 15 shows in 15 weeks.
Oh, wow.
He's a guy that he credits me as a guy that's really going to help teach him about comics and things like that through my Right or Wrong columns in the book. And we've become really good friends. But he said I'm the Qui-Gon Jinn to his Obi-Wan, So, well, like any student, and I don't mean that disrespectfully at all, but just for the sake of the analogy, he wanted to surpass the teacher. So he decided to do 17 shows in 17 weeks.
Oh.
And he survived. He took his family on the road and stuff like that. And I asked, and I said, man, don't do this. You're not going to like what happens next if you do this. I said, just break it off somewhere, just do a week off or something. And, but he didn't, he succeeded. And I asked him, I said, well, how'd you hold up, man? Because I saw him sporadically throughout his tour, because we would be at the same shows together and same signings, such as the show in July. Or no, that was his month off too. But anyway, and see, it all runs together. It's crazy. And he was just beat up, man. He's like, oh. And I said, it's like, I told him, it's like fighting Mike Tyson. You only have to do it once, and it doesn't matter, and that's it. It doesn't matter the outcome. You did it. So, point being, I took July off. I did get some writing done and things like that, and but I found something interesting that. When I schedule like time off like that, I'm either all in or I'm all out. Like, I'll be writing while I'm touring, but if I'm not writing or touring, if I'm taking a quote unquote vacation or staycation or what have you, I just didn't do nearly as much as I wanted to, which was a long and rambling answer to a very short question. And I apologize. But,
it's all good.
But yeah, point being, I took July off, and now I'm gearing up for a monster tour. I have to reclaim my title from Victor. That's all comes on to Victor. So not only I think am I going to reclaim my title this fall, but he will also single-handedly be responsible for the Dirkest timeline come April.
Ooh.
Hashtag the Dirkest timeline. That's April.
Wow, I like it. And that's totally it's like a community reference, isn't it?
Is that a show or something?
Yeah. Yeah. They talk
I hear
about the
it's
Darkest
good. I don't watch.
timeline.
That's like a TV. Yeah, I don't. Well, there's what it comes from is there's a lot of references. Truly, this is the darkest timeline.
That is true. Okay.
Well, come April, that Victor and everyone else will find out you've all been living in the darkest timeline. I'll even tell you, it's going to be Wednesday, April 1st, New Comic Book Day in April, first Wednesday in April, the darkest timeline. And get ready. And it's not an April Fool's gag. It is a thing that is going to happen.
Well, that's good, because as soon as you said April 1st, I was like, okay.
Ho, ho, ho. No. The darkest timeline is no joke. Hashtag the darkest timeline.
It doesn't sound like a joke, especially it has a hashtag in front of it.
It has to be real. It has a hashtag, and it is a real thing, and it is going to happen. And all I'll say is, you'll all see.
Ooh, gave me a little chill there. I think I'm going to make sure all my windows are locked before I go to bed tonight.
Jay, you said we could hang out. You said we could all get together. So
yep.
I ignored the vocally part. Vocally just means I'll keep talking like this when I come hang out with all you guys.
I know. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever, and I know. Well, it was Comic-Con. That was the last time I actually saw you. So it has been a little while. Time is flying by so fast. This year is just like, and I'm sure it has been for you too, with you being so busy.
I'll be back up in Michigan. Basically, at this point, I'm looking at my calendar here. All of September is booked. I'll be back in Michigan a little bit in September. And then October's all booked. I'll be in Michigan some in October, and I'm working on November right now. And I can guarantee I'll be in Michigan again in November. So people can go to dirkmanning.com and get the whole list. But yeah, I'll be at the Great Lakes Comic Con in October on the 18th up in Macomb. I'll be at the Flint Horror Con October 25th. And even before that, I'll actually be over at Wayne Community College September 13th doing a panel on writing for comics. And then the week after that, I'll be in Grand Rapids at Grand Con in Michigan. I'm going to be all over Michigan.
Yeah, it sounds like it. 2 out of those 4 are actually pretty close to my house, so that's awesome.
There it is. See, we could be it'd be like Dirkheads or something. You guys can start following me around Michigan. Everyone can come hang out.
Ooh, can we refer to all your collected writings as the Dirkiverse?
The Dirkest timeline. You'll see.
I know that's actually a much better phrase, but
I had to think about it. Believe me, yeah.
Well, you do like really good puns, don't you?
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Actually, someone else mentioned the Dirkest timeline. It was a Tony Berry down at Superfly and comics down in Yellow Springs. I'll give credit's due. He's a friend of mine. I'll actually be there this weekend for their 7th anniversary sale. Yeah, I do like a really good pun. And, people read my stuff and it's really scary and freaky and disturbing and stuff. But I am, I guess, a freaky, scary person, but at least I can laugh about it.
You're like the nicest person ever. Seriously.
You're
a little dark, but we can deal with that.
Let me tell you something. Every single time I open Tales of Mystery Volume 1, it's to that damn page where the guy is scooping his eyes out, and I get freaked out. Every single time.
Yes, and I'll tell you, that's actually the colorist of the book.
Oh.
That's the guy that colored the first half of the book, and he colored a bunch of Nightmare World stuff. Good friend of mine, Austin McKinley. Great human being. One of the single nicest people I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. And we just totally had a psychic kid make him scoop his own eyes out with an ice cream scooper. and then get his head sawed off in the broken glass of the display case. Yeah. Just to add insult to injury.
Yeah, like it wasn't bad enough. Let's do this as well. Why not?
That is such a that is one of the scenes in that book that people talk about all the time, and it's interesting because in Tales of Mystery Volume 1, Procreation of the Wicked, now available through Devil's Due Comics. Just putting that out there. Devil's Due, Tales of Mystery Volume 1. Fine comic shops everywhere. There's so much disturbing stuff in that book and scenes, because it's like quiet, oh my God! Quiet, oh my God! What the, but that's the one that people see. That's the one that seems to get the most visceral reaction out of people. To me, it's actually a totally different scene, but I'm glad the eyeball really messes. Like Josh Blaylock, my publisher, that scene just destroys him. He just randomly brings it up. Like if I'm hanging out with him or something, he'll be, what I think about? That ice cream scooper scene. And I'm like, really? It's not like the demons being summoned through the unborn fetuses of pregnant women. It's not.
That is pretty gnarly too. Not gonna lie.
The one that gets me the worst is the zombie sex club.
Yeah, that's a little. I mean, there's so many things that you can say that about in the book, though. It's like this one's really bad, but there's this.
Oh
one.
yeah,
here we go. Here's another. The guy covered in who's basically almost been burnt to death, just like coming after Mystery, and he's like practically grabbing him, like he's attacking him, but he's talking to him, and then just bam, one hit, and he's just like his head's just gone.
Turns him to dust. Yeah. He's so charred up. It's Mysteries. The Tales of Mysteries, the feel good book of the year.
Oh yeah, show your kids. Share it with your nieces and nephews, whatever.
Yeah,
It's not all just visual, though, too. Sorry, I kind of cut you off, but there's a lot of painful family history and disturbing things that are brought up or alluded to.
Mm-hmm.
But the visuals definitely. The writing goes along well with it, but they pop out. Like, okay, the one girl who, let's just say, she's had a bit of a metamorphosis.
Oh, the Amish girl.
Yeah. But there's disturbing stuff all the way through it, but it's such a joy to read because
because it's disturbing.
No, it's good. I'm not a big fan personally of the whole short story form, but I finally actually just read it this week because I've been trying to get through a backlog of reading, and it was really damn good. You were all right. So,
thank you. Well, I'll put that in the back of the next book. You were all right. This was really damn good.
Yeah.
You can use this quote. I don't mind. Feel free.
Well, yeah, and one of the things that when we did Volume 1, Volume 1 is a black and white, grayscaled book, and Josh Ross, and this is true of Set the Moose in Volume 2 as well, and we did full color in Volume 2, but for different reasons. But Volume 1, we specifically did it to look like a black and white film noir. And Austin McKinley, he of the eyeball ice cream scooping incident, he really set the tone for that book with us when he's a very just masterful illustrator, filmmaker. He does everything great. And he's nice. It's like if he's like a dick, it would be like I could be mad at him about it, but he's super nice and he's so talented in so many things. It's just disgusting. I'm barely talented at one thing, and this guy's like, oh, I just made a movie, I just colored comics, I illustrated some comics, all kinds of stuff. But we really wanted, when we set out in Volume 1, to make it look like a film noir, and really play on that trope, the idea of, here's this kind of hardcore, intense, kind of quiet guy in this trench coat, and he's really, and it starts off looking like a very certain thing, a very, dare I say, cookie cutter character. And then as you go through Volume 1, you see this isn't a cookie cutter character at all. I'm very open about this. The Monster Hunter thing's been done to death. I don't care if it's Hellblazer or Constantine, two different things in my mind. The Goon, Hellboy, Tom Aesop, whatever it is, there's a million Monster Hunter books out there. But I can say to anybody's face or online, or anywhere, you'll never read another book like Mystery and Tales of Mystery, and you'll never have another character like Mystery. This is not a book this is not a superhero book disguised as a horror book. A lot of horror books are really superhero books, but instead of superpowers, they have magical powers. And instead of supervillains, you have monsters. That's not this. As we've been talking about, this is a book where there's some really crazy, horrible things going on in the world, and the effects that has on someone, and the kind of person that even gets into that kind of thing in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of the noble monster hunter, it's like, no one else can do this job but me. It's like, F off, man. There's army, there's police, or even in the book, there's the Promise Group, the permanent reduction of monsters in society everywhere.
Yep.
But they're an organized group that did this in an organized fashion. The idea of the lone wolf going out there and I will rid the world of all the monsters. What kind of jackass are you? How damaged? What? You can never have a life. You can never have a family. You can never have friends. You have post-traumatic stress disorder. Something actually that Steph said a long time ago at Motor City always stuck with me about the damaged. He's a damaged man, and like exactly, Mr. E's incredibly damaged, and it bothers me in a lot of horror fiction. We don't see the true. I feel that we almost see the glorified damage. Oh, look, he has a really rough exterior, but he pulls through. Mr. E doesn't always pull through. Mr. E does terrible mistakes, and he fails. Yeah. I would argue at least as much, if not more, than he succeeds. And I think it just makes a very unique, powerful reading experience. This is not a guy that's always going to win, and that's not a guy that's always going to make the right decision. And people scream at my goal is for people to scream at the book and to be mad about what he does sometimes, but what he does is a natural progression of who he is.
Right. And I, to kind of bring it to, the volume 2 that's coming out, this is the first time that you've done a miniseries, right?
Yeah, this is the first time I've done a creator-owned miniseries. Rather than releasing Tales of Mystery Carmageddon online and then going right to a graphic novel, we're actually doing 4 issues, 4 22-page full-color issues. Then we'll collect it, presumably, after that. But yeah, so this is the first time I've actually kind of I try not to laugh in a juvenile fashion when I say this, but especially in the presence of a lady. But it's like we're really trying to more penetrate the direct market more. Mm-hmm. It's such a bad word. I'm sorry, but it's the most appropriate. Because what happens at the business side of this, Nightmare World, all graphic novels, Tales of Mystery. Volume 1, graphic novel. But oftentimes what happens is the store will order a graphic novel, shelve it, spine out somewhere, or buy 1 or 2, sell them, forget they ever had it back in stock, never, as opposed to going the issue route, you get a different kind of exposure. You're on the new releases wall for a couple of weeks or maybe even a couple of months, depending on your store. Gives people more of a chance to see what's going on. With the first issue, we actually it'll be out in a couple of weeks. It'll be released. I've actually got preview copies. It looks beautiful. Eric Powell cover. Eric Powell from the Goon did the cover. Oh my God. I need a moment. Okay. I still can't believe it. But we're offering the first issue, full color, 22 pages with 22 pages of content, $1.99.
Can't beat that.
No, and all my other books are about $15 a pop. People that read them know they're great, but this is something like I've heard about Dirk Manning, I've heard about Tales of Mystery, or I've heard Nightmare World's good. It's like, listen, it's $2.
Yeah,
$2. That's half the price of any other mainstream book out there.
Yep.
Check it out. If you like it, buy the other 3 issues, or if you want to wait for the trade, then wait for the trade. If that's what that hurts us more in the short run, but. I'm not making none of the team is making money on the first issue, but we believe in it and we know it's good. And this is giving people an opportunity. Spend $2 on the Eric Powell cover, if nothing else. Good gravy.
I think that's awesome because a lot of times, like me as a comic book reader, unless I hear about something ahead of time, like when I go into a comic shop and decide that I'm going to read something new, mm-hmm. I never had this happen to me recently where I picked up 2 different things that I was like, oh, I think I'm really going to like them. I spent my $4 on them, whatever, willing to give it a try, and they were just awful. And I'm like, for $4, it just kind of made my experience unpleasant. I'm like, it would have been a lot better if I could have had a chance to either check something out like get a little idea about what it was before I bought it, or even if it is $2, like that makes a huge difference because it's like it's an opportunity to check something out that you might not know something about. And I know firsthand that it's good, so people should just go buy it anyway. But
there you go, right? The masses have spoken on that.
Yes.
I have to agree with you because I don't go and buy a trade paperback or graphic novel unless I already know what I'm looking for, or I'm looking for something I've heard of and I'm familiar with. $15 to $30, some of them even more than that, is a lot to spend on something you're not really sure about. So, the comic trying to get in with a single issue thing is a pretty good idea for exposure. I have to agree with that. I'm much more apt to be like, hey, this looks cool and it's only $2, and to be like, hey, this looks cool and it's $25.99.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Most of the graphic novels, like I said, I've done are about $15, but it's just enough that I think to this point, I've done so much touring and, I have a pretty large body of work out there. You got the 3 Nightmare World graphic novels. I did the Legend of Oz, the Wicked West story arc for Big Dog Inc. I've had short stories and a couple other anthologies and stuff as well. People have seen my work. We did the Love Stories to Die For flip book through Image last year, the double-sized issue. People have been hearing the name Dirk Manning, occasionally even hearing it in a positive light. But then it's like, do you want to spend $15 on this? Or then people look at even Mystery, Volume 1. It's a black and white book, and some people just still have that. I think The Walking Dead did a lot to break this down, but having it be a totally grayscaled book, even though that book is Tales of Mystery Volume 1 is fully colored, but it's fully colored in grays. Then, of course, the back section is all full color, too. So it's like, look, we weren't even trying to skimp. I mean, we did it this way on purpose. We have color capability. But to spend $15 when you're like, comic readers, we're very habitual by nature. So this is an opportunity. It's like, look, you heard my name. You've heard about Tales of Mystery. You've heard about the stuff I do. You hear it's good. I can do nothing else for you. I'm notorious for giving my work away online and stuff. Almost everything I've done that's creator owned, I've given away. So it's like I can't do much else for anybody than this is your opportunity. And then don't cry when it sells out. I've been telling people for months. It's $2. Get it while you can. Get a couple, because when it's sold out.
Do you have a
That's
ballpark of when it's going to be released in terms of date?
Yeah, I was going to be hoping it'd be out. Today's Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Today. Sorry, it's been that kind of week. See, I'm only 1 week into the tour and this is happening. It was supposed to be out today. It'll be out in a couple weeks. We actually switched printers and things like that. Went to a different printer, which put us back a couple weeks in delivery. So, but Volume 1, Issue 1 of Tales of Mystery, Carmageddon, will be out in a couple weeks from Devil's Due. Except Issue 2 is done, ready to be delivered to the printer. Issue 3 is just about done. So once that first issue comes out, it'll be out very regularly for the on schedule after that.
I'm gonna have to put it on a pull list because by the time I get to the comic shop on like Wednesdays, those stupid nerds have already bought all the things I want to buy.
Those stupid nerds.
Those
Taking all your
dorks.
comic
I
books.
swear to every Wednesday when I go to the comic book store, I have to fight people for comics. It's ridiculous.
There's worse, but it's what a glorious thing. I mean, no offense to you not getting your books, but man, I mean, the fact that we have that kind of, it wasn't that long ago when you go to the comic shop and it's like, lonely,
You hear-
I'm so lonely.
You hear
the
crickets in the background,
It's like dirty. There's like one light, like like a moth going around it, and
I know,
and then you got 17 X-Men books, 17 X-Men covers up there or something.
Right.
I know. Lately, when I pull up, I'm like, "Oh, good, there's nobody here." And then I'm in there and I'm browsing, and then like 10 people come in, and I'm like, "No, go away." I'm an introvert by nature. Leave me alone.
Yeah, and something too, though. You talk about adding stuff to your pull list. That's how people who create their own books. I mean, that's how we live and die. Marvel will collect their books. DC will most likely collect their books. Image, I think it's kind of built into the model a little bit more. But if people don't if customers don't go to their store owners and say, I want this book, chances are they're not going to order it, or not order as many, and then you may not get one, and then people get mad and they can't find one, and the numbers suffer, and it's like, well, I wanted to get that when it came out. I wanted to get Tales of Mystery Carmageddon when it comes out. And I tell people, pre-order. We live and die. Creators live and die on pre-orders because our numbers come in, and it's like, we got to pay to get the books printed either way, So
right,
and you have to print in bulk. So it's like, if you're printing 1,000 books at a time or something like that, and maybe or 2,000 books, and your pre-orders are 1,400. There's no way for me to get you in your comic shop a book if your comic book store owner doesn't know that you wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense.
I'm going to go talk next Wednesday and tell one of them, depending on which store I go to put it on a pull list for me.
Yeah, thank you. And don't get me wrong, I'm not chiding you or nothing, but I think it's a part of the, why aren't you pre-ordering? But it's a part of the business that a lot of people don't understand, People want Tales of Mystery, for example, but if their store owners don't know, they won't order it, or they'll order one. And like you said, someone will walk in, oh, that looks a cool looking book. Oh, I've heard about that. Oh, it's $1.99. Oh, whatever. And they buy it, and then you go in waiting for it, never comes out. It is like, I want to get you books. I want to get everybody the books that want them, but you got to let the store owners know so they can get it for you. Otherwise, it's a matter of finding me at a convention, hoping I have them, and they're not marked up to $20 or something now because they're out of print. So,
right.
I wouldn't do that to you guys. It'd be like $19.95.
Oh, you're so sweet.
No, I used to have
Jerk Manning.
There's
I like
again. I used to have a really big pull list back in the day, and then I started dating. And then I couldn't afford anything anymore.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, women are terrible. They ruin all your money.
Well, well, a lot of times too, like I said, we buy stuff habitually, and I did something a couple of years ago that really changed my buying habits. Any book that I wasn't jumping up and down excited for when it came in, a Preacher, a Walking Dead, books like that, really like, man, yes, next issue. I quit buying it for 6 months. I said, I'm not going to buy it, and I'll wait till the trade comes out. And then if I'm really jonesing to get the trade, I know that I should be buying this book. Over half of my pull list disappeared because of that. And then what I was able to start doing was start allocating that money to different stuff. Like, boy, I heard, I'm not a superhero guy, but I heard Invincible's really good. And I started, and my whole pull list really shifted more to creator-owned books, and I fell in love with them. I'm like, this is cool stuff. There are no rules, The stuff that happens in Tales of Mystery, whether it be Volume 1 or Carmageddon that's coming out in a couple of weeks, you're not going to see that in most corporate-owned books.
Yeah.
The rules change when it's creator-owned.
Yeah,
so
Steph and I talk about that in our little comic podcast, which we're going to be doing soon too. I've really started dumping down my comic purchases every week too. But Steph and I mostly stick with pretty independent labels too. Most of the stuff we read is pretty, usually it's like Boom or like Image that we read. Very rarely do her and I actually do Marvel or DC. Almost never DC.
Yeah, I know. I don't think I haven't bought anything DC in forever, and the only Marvel stuff that I'm into right now is the Dark Tower series, and they have the drawing of the 3 coming out in September, and I'm still scrambling to find all the original ones so I can have them all, because I'm that person who has to have like the whole collection.
That's fine, and people should, whether it's Marvel or DC or Dark Horse or Image or Devil's Due or Big Dog Inc. or whatever it is, I felt like what you like, but don't spend your money on it unless you like it. Steph said earlier, spend $4 on something, and that's something else I try to do too with my books. Is being a short story guy by nature, I write fairly densely, And when people pick up one of my books, I'm nothing's worse than picking up a book and it's $3 or $4, and you read it in 5 minutes, and it's like, really? What happened? I like to write. I want to give people the most bang for their buck, and so yeah. But like what you like, but spend your money on stuff you like. And I've been on this crusade lately about this. And don't talk about things you don't like in public. Don't bash. If you don't like something, there's just been these internet witch hunts and stuff like that. If you don't like it, don't talk about it. And instead, use your energy to promote what you like, which is why I'm so thankful you guys have me on this show. You like me. You really like me.
Yeah, but it's so true. People get on the internet and they just I was actually looking at Urban Dictionary earlier today, and there's a word for it that I was bored, Shim. I was eating pancakes, and I was like, I'm going to go on Urban Dictionary and just look up a random word.
Well, I have three definitions
now I
up
want
there.
pancakes.
Well, first, let me tell you this. This is the word for those people that spend all their time bashing things on the internet. They're called e-thugs. And
yes,
because they're sitting behind their computer screen talking crap about literally everything, and they're just awful. And it's like, that's what they spend their time doing. And I'd much rather discuss things that I like with my friends than sit around and be hateful. So luckily we're not e-thugs most of the time.
Yeah, it used to be trolls, and even that, and yeah, e-thugs.
E-thugs. The goal of the e-thug is to proliferate the butt hurt.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So many people get butt hurt, and then they think because they have a Facebook page or a Twitter account that suddenly there's justification and entitlement in regards to the world. The world should be the world should empathize with my offense.
Right.
It's like, go screw yourself. A lack of butt hurt on your behalf does not make for compassion on my behalf.
Exactly. So. Everybody with the presence on the internet just thinks that like they're owed that, and they're not. I just ignore them.
That's the way to be.
Exactly. I saw your ice bucket challenge video the other day. And
that's how I started my tour.
Yeah, I laughed. That beginning of the video was so funny. I was not expecting that. It was just so cute. And after seeing so many of these, great videos for a great cause, it was kind of a breath of fresh air. It was unique, and I really enjoyed it.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. Thank you. All credit to Misty McKinney for she makes those dolls and actually made a Dirk Manning doll unsolicited. I didn't even ask her to make one, but when I knew that one was being made, I really didn't. When I knew it was being made, I knew that was the way to go about things, because of course the big joke is, my perfect hair, and will 50 gallons of water ruin my hair? We all know the answer is no. So,
you still looked good afterwards, so there you go. It worked out. Yeah,
it's fun. And, obviously I don't run around in real life wearing a top hat and a scarf. But it's funny because, like, over the years, a couple years ago, a couple of friends of mine made a custom-made Dirk Manning Ken doll kind of thing, I guess is the way to describe it. Action figure.
Yeah.
Then a buddy of mine made a mystery action figure, and more I'm finding myself in possession. Another friend of mine made a Cthulhu with a Dirk Manning outfit on, a doll, and I have that, and so now I got another Dirk Manning, and it's like, I guess the moral of the story is I'm taking more and more pleasure playing with myself. I just, all these Dirk Manning avatars, and it's like I'm in my office, I'm talking to you guys, and I'm looking around the room, and it's like all kinds of Cthulhu stuff, and now more and more all kinds of Dirk Manning stuff, and it's like, this is my life now. It's like a shrine to me. I wish I liked myself as much as everyone else does. I'd probably be pretty happy, and then I wouldn't write these horrible things.
Right. You'd start writing like My Little Pony or something.
Right, exactly. I'd be working with Kate Cook and Jay Fosgate and stuff on My Little Pony and things like that, and it wouldn't be people being accosted and trying to survive the end of the world. And
Yes. And speaking of that, I liked in the first issue of the Carmageddon series, I really liked that it went back to kind of like how, like what happened during the Armageddon, because it's talked about in volume 1, and you know that it's happened, but there's no real sense of what exactly happened at that point. So I really enjoyed that it went back and kind of showed a different side of him. I felt like, because maybe it was because he was with kids, but it seemed like kind of like a softer side to him at that point. Maybe because it was early on, I don't know, but I really kind of enjoyed seeing that side of him when I was reading it.
And the answer to that is yes and yes. This is a younger Ree. This is several years after he ran away from his teacher, before the Armageddon happened. And how did we get from younger, gentler almost Mr. Ree to the Mr. Ree that we know now? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of one of the things that Carmageddon is about, is what happened? What happened during the Armageddon? And I mean, obviously a lot of other things, even a lot of things in volume 1 that happened to Mr. Ree made him the way he was. I mean, he definitely is softer in the beginning of volume 1 than he is at the end. But volume 2 also, you'll see that a younger Ree, and we do start in the present. So you do at least see that, there is some, I of course didn't have to, but we get to see a little bit of happiness for Mr. Ree in the first couple of pages before we get into all this horror of the end of the world.
Right. Everything ends, but there's this. So this is good.
Yeah. It's like you see that he is where he is currently. We left him at the end of volume 1 on a pretty monstrous cliffhanger.
Yeah. I seriously, at the end of that book, I was like, kind of freaking out. Like I'm like, why can't I read more right now? I can't leave him like this.
You can't leave. You can't leave him like this. So we see where he is now, which is a better place, I'd like to think.
Yeah.
At least for the time being. And but yeah, he's not a bad guy, and he's doing this very noble thing. He wants to help these 5 children out. Their parents. He tried to save the parents. He couldn't save their parents. And now he's with these 5 kids and trying to protect them for, and who knows? He doesn't know how long it's going to be. We know it's 3 days. But trying to protect 5 children for what will be 3 days during the biblical capital A Armageddon. And how good is Seth the Moose's art and Tony Lee's colors? I mean, oh my God, Seth and Tony on this book. I mean, it's almost easy to take the expressiveness and the beauty of the art, I think, in volume 2 for granted. Seth is such an expressionful expressiveness. Expressionate? No.
Yeah, those all work. Whatever. We can make up whatever words we want.
I make up words to describe how good he is.
That's a compliment.
Yeah, but he does just very expressionistic art. And, the first issue of Carmageddon is a lot of talking, There's some brief bits of horrible things, but it's kind of the setup. And as you said, we kind of learn more about Ree and what he's like and who he is. And those panels just move. I mean, when you look at him,
that smug-ass angel.
Yeah, issue 2.
Yeah, very good. The facial stuff is really good.
Oh yeah, no, it's perfect. It's really spot on, and I kind of enjoyed that aspect of it because I felt, I don't know, maybe like I felt a little bit closer to the character of Mystery. He was the facial work was very expressive and very like you could see concern in his face and you believed it. It's just you're right. It's really well drawn. Seth is definitely super skilled. He's
the man. He's the man. And a lot of people say, well, kind of a cartoony style art or whatever. But with Mystery, I've never wanted to do quote unquote horror art with this book, or at least not with these particular stories anyway. Volume 1, I wanted it to look and read like an old film noir, have that tone. In Volume 2, Seth, was following Josh Ross, who did, 100 pages of the book and really established the character and stuff. And Seth and I did those first 5 pages multiple times. The first 5 pages of the main story, not the little kind of bookend in the present. But when we actually get to the Armageddon with Tales of Mystery Volume 2, and I don't think I'm talking out of school saying this, we worked on those pages over and over and over again. And because he was, in a way, trying to follow in Josh's footsteps. And we talked, and I'm like, Seth, this is your story. I had a couple different options of where to go art-wise on this. And talking to Seth and seeing his art, it was like, you're the one. You nailed it. This is no one else could do this story the way it needs to be done, which is the way that Seth could do it. And tone in Anthony Lee's color is just amazing. With the flashback stuff we do, this is a book that I hope as people read it, they see the true level of how all the pieces work together. The lettering, the illustrations, the color, the writing. You'll notice on the cover of the book, all 4 of our names are on the cover because it's 4 equal parts. We really wanted to make this a book that the art, the color, the writing, the lettering, everything syncs together just to make a true comic, and just show the power of this medium and then tell this very, very, I won't say horrible story because no one will read it, but a very emotional story.
Yeah,
it's a horror-able story. Not a horrible story.
Exactly, a horror-able. But it's Lone Wolf and Cub during the Armageddon. Basically, Mr. E has been given the charge of 5 children who are orphaned now, and they're from late teens all the way down to a baby. And not only how do you protect these kids, how far do you go to protect these kids? And what do you have to choose to do to protect these kids? And at what point do you maybe not protect these kids anymore? They're not your kids. You just met these kids, and a lot of moral dilemmas and a lot of it's easy to say, oh, we'd all do the right thing. And yeah, I would protect these children. Like, these are strangers,
Yeah, we all like to think we do the right thing, but you don't know what you would do in that situation. And it's interesting to read because, again, it's like that morality, that like moral dilemma of, what would you do? And that's what's so great about a lot of the things you write. There is that level in them, and it makes it a lot more interesting than just like a typical, like a formulaic book, a formulaic comic, which I'm not a big fan of those. Like, I get that they have their place, and that's awesome. But I like more character development. I like to have like a connection with what I'm reading about, I guess. I don't know.
No, I hear you. And I'm big on the morality play aspect of things. I'd like to think in some ways, at least I can present myself as a fairly well-adjusted, normal human being who just really likes horror. And I've said it hundreds of times. Good horror speaks to the human condition. What would you do if? That is what a good horror story is. A good horror story is not going around and cutting people's faces off and chopping off their arms and legs, or just scooping their eyeballs out with ice cream scoopers.
We just went full circle there, people.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. You see what I did there?
Yeah.
Really. In and of itself. In and of itself, we're still talking about pictures and words. The point is, it's a picture of a guy being forced to scoop his eyes out of his own head with an ice cream scooper. All right. But that story, while that image is just mortifying, the story behind the story that circumstance takes place in, what do you do with an evil kid? This is from volume 1, so I'm not spoiling anything,
Right.
But, is this kid really the Antichrist? How far are you willing to go to take the chance he is, he isn't, whatever, Do you kill Hitler as a child?
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of stuff that to me is fascinating. And that's what I like to write about, and I always appreciate it when people gravitate to my writing for those reasons, because anybody can be gross, but make me think, make me reflect, talk about the human condition, and if you can talk about it with Cthulhu rampaging through a city, all
Even
the better.
better.
All the better.
Yeah.
I want to say, too, that story specifically, I've seen probably over the years 3 or 4 different, evil psychic kid stories in different media, but I've never seen one that ended quite like that.
Oh,
the resolution, and I'm not going to give it away, but for anyone who hasn't read it, but the resolution was a lot. It hit pretty hard, and it's about making decisions, and not what I've seen before in that story type. So very good.
Oh, thank you. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And one of the things with Volume 1 is everything in Volume 1, everything that's ever going to happen in Tales of Mystery, there are seeds of that planted in Volume 1. In the most minor little seemingly throwaway references. There's a character that I'm not going to spoil, and I don't want anyone to spoil it, but a character appears in Volume 2 that's referenced in Volume 1 just very quickly. Or the kid issue in Volume 1, when Mr. E's faced with an evil kid. Well, look at what Volume 2's about. Volume 2's all about his interaction with kids. And then we even learn about what Mr. E went through as a kid, which is pretty horrible, and it all, God.
Ooh, that's rough.
It's rough. It is rough, and it should be rough. And again, it's horror. Horror is not a werewolf is not going to jump through my window and eviscerate me. You want proof? I'm still here. It didn't happen. Newsflash, it's not going to happen tomorrow either. So a werewolf in and of itself does not frighten me. Okay, that doesn't scare me. That shouldn't scare, now you can tell a scary story about a werewolf, but again, it's got to be about it. The things that we learn that were pretty strongly alluded to in Volume 1 of Mystery, and the things we learn about Mystery in Volume 2 about the stuff he went through, that's the stuff that's scary. I mean, even when you think about why he went to the wizard to begin with, that sense of guilt he had over what he did and how he ruined his family's life and he burned down the house and all these things that happened. Why he went to this wizard, and then with the circumstances that arise under his tutelage with the wizard, and then even go back to Volume 1 and you find out that, he was really damned since in utero. His mom moved into a haunted house, so he was damned from birth.
Right.
It just,
That blew my mind when I read. I was like, no.
Yeah. Don't
really
move in there.
It's like when you're watching a horror movie and, a slasher dude's like, don't run up the stairs, run outside the front door. It's kind of like when I was yelling at my comic.
Don't move into that house.
Don't do it. It's a bad idea.
Well, there's 2 things going on here in the way these stories are done, as far as the way I interpret it. There's stuff I just plain haven't seen before in horror, and there's stuff I have seen, but it never turns out how I'm expecting it to. And that's pretty good. I like that. It's such a big genre, and so much has been done. But every page I turn, something surprises me, even when I think I know where it's going.
Well, and that's good because that's the way it should be. Like I said earlier, the Monster Hunter trope's been done a million times. You won't read a book like Tales of Mystery anywhere else. No,
you've definitely taken an idea and just completely, gone wherever the hell you wanted with it. And the end result is very good, and I recommend it. I don't want to sound like I'm giving you a handy here, but this is pretty damn good, and our listeners should definitely pick it up.
I appreciate the virtual handy. Thank you.
Oh my God.
It comes from the heart. I don't read a lot of comics. I have my Batman one-shots and miniseries, and I have my Buffy and Angel because I've been a big Whedon fan forever. This is the first thing I've read outside of that in a long time because I was honestly pretty jaded with the genre. So
Right. Well,
for me,
you know,
that's a big compliment. I really enjoyed this.
That's what makes it so special. Thank you. Will you call me in the morning? You call me tomorrow? No. And Buffy's another example too. The Monster Hunter trope. But again, we're just bringing something. I really thank you. I'm glad that you appreciate what we're bringing to this, which is different. You'll never read a book like this. So thank you. I'm glad. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm certainly eager to see where this goes. And we've seen a little bit of it because we got some previews, but we're not going to tell people everything.
Yeah. You guys actually got the first two issues. I will tell you, just so you don't get too overly self-congratulatory about it, Mystery is also going to be appearing in Mercy Sparks #7. He actually is in that issue quite a bit. Mercy Sparks is Josh Blaylock's book about a devil girl who works for heaven. And they were doing a Mystery Mercy Sparks crossover in that issue. Just a lot of fun to get to see, even though with no dialogue exchanged. People have seen the cover, they'll know why. But just to have Mystery interact with Mercy as well as some other really cool indie comic book characters that make guest appearances in Mercy Sparks #7 is pretty fun. So people like Mystery, make sure you pick up Mercy Sparks #7 as well. It's a great book anyway, and Mystery's all over issue 7. I've actually seen a bunch of the art, and as the kids say, OMG.
Is that all caps? OMG?
All caps with an exclamation point.
Holy
After
crap.
each letter. After each letter.
That's very serious.
It's totally serial. Totally serial.
Oh my god, love it. Oh, well, it looks like we're getting close to time here. Now, I know you'd mentioned a couple of places that you're going to be over the next couple of months. Is there anything else that you wanted to say before we have to wrap this bad boy up?
I'm doing, like I said, a, no pun intended, monster fall tour. Let's see, this coming weekend I'll be in Yellow Springs, Ohio. First weekend in September I'll be at Cincy Comic-Con. The week after that, on Saturday the 13th, which is turned close to Friday the 13th.
So close.
I know. I'll be up at Wayne Community College actually doing a Right or Wrong panel. Tony Maiello's doing a seminar up there called Making Comics with the Pros. So I'll actually be at Wayne Community College in Taylor, Michigan, doing a panel.
Right down the street from my house, dude. I'm totally coming.
Do it. At least one person will be there.
Yes, I will be there.
And I'll talk about writing comics and things like that. Week after that, I'm doing Grand Con in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And then got a week off from conventions. Then in October, and this is all on the website, but I'm doing Cinema Wasteland, New York Comic Con, first time at the Big Dance.
Whoop, whoop.
I did special edition. Yeah, woo woo. Can I get a woo woo?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I'm doing New York Comic Con for the first time. I'll be doing a panel there with Buddy Scalera, and I'll be set up probably at table H8, as in hate, all weekend. And then I'll be up in Michigan again at Great Lakes. Hate. The Reed Pop guys always give me table H8. Hate. Wonderful. And then I'll be in Michigan for 2 weeks after that. The 18th, I'll be at Great Lakes Comic Con up at Macomb Community College. The week after that, the Flint Horror Con, which is a very cool show. Exclusive for your show, Halloween weekend, Wizard World, Ohio. And then I'll probably be doing some Michigan appearances again in November. The Chris Brown, I got to get back up to Comics and More. He has a great shop. And
Chris Brown's great.
Chris Brown's amazing. We're a great guy. We got there's such a great comic scene. You got Vault of Midnight up in Michigan, Comics and More, Wonder World. I mean, you just got so many great stores up there and things like that. I love spending time in Michigan. So
I know we have to visit you guys down in Ohio. I've been wanting to go to Pack Rats. It sounds like such an amazing place, so we want to check it out someday.
Yeah, Pack Rat is very, very cool. Like I said, I was just there in July, so I don't know if I'll go down there or not on this tour. We'll see. It depends how badly I want to crush Victor. Maybe I'll end the tour of Pack Rat again just to smite him in his hometown.
Nice.
Which, hold on. Let me make a note. Smite Victor in his hometown. Thank you guys. Maybe that's what I'll do. The Dirkest timeline, Victor. You brought this upon yourself. I know you're listening.
I'm sorry if I cut you off, Rico. Go ahead. I apologize.
I was going to ask what day you were at Macomb Community College.
That's the 18th.
The 18th.
The 18th. Wait. No, Macomb. It's going to be out. It's on the website, dirkmanning.com. The 13th of September.
13th. Oh man, I was so wrong.
That's all right. It's a Saturday. Yeah. But hey, you can go to dirkmanning.com.
On your website, it does actually say October 18th.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
Thanks. I got to fix it. We'll edit that part out. But yes, it's September 13th.
Hey, you're a busy guy. You can't remember everything. Come on.
And nor can I read calendars, apparently. I will fix that.
September 3rd. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally down the street from me.
Nice. Yeah, I'll be there September 13th.
I didn't even know they had anything going on, so...
Yeah, 20 Maiello's been doing, I guess for a couple of years now, he's been building up this nice little comic. It's called Making Comics with the Pros, and the college students go there and stuff like that. And I guess I've fooled them well enough that I can I can be invited. So that'll be pretty cool. I'll get to go there and actually do like a panel presentation at a college. So
you guys should
that'll be a lot of fun.
Work and go with me.
Yeah.
Work schmirk, not important.
Yeah, you know what? Let's see, September 3rd. Now my website says September 13th.
That's the one at Wayne Community College, right?
Wayne Community College, September 13th.
Okay.
And then I'm doing.
He was talking about Macomb. So that's the one that's on the 18th because I paid attention, Rico.
Oh, okay. Then the week after that I'll be at Grand Con up in Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
So my website is right. Yay!
It is right.
Okay, anybody who's confused by all of this, just go to the website.
Go to dirkmanning.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all at Dirk Manning, one word. Yeah. You'll even see the Dirkest timeline is listed on the website as well.
You have to wait till April 1st, though, people. Sorry.
Oh, I'll definitely clue people in more about that, but there's actually going to be some exclusive content that you can only get then, and I'm right. It's too far away. I'm not going to get into it yet.
Don't get me all excited.
I don't want to tease people, but it's going to be pretty awesome.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us. It's been, again, a pleasure to have you. It's always nice to chit chat.
I really appreciate it. No, thank you. Thank you guys very much. And I definitely look forward to seeing you guys on the road again. And thank you for having me on. And thank you all the listeners for putting up with me incessantly babbling about horror comics. And yeah, anyone into horror stuff, Tales of Mystery Volume 1 is from Devil's Due. The 3 Nightmare World trade paperbacks are from Image. And Carmageddon, Tales of Mystery Carmageddon. See if your shop can order you a copy, get your copy. First issue, 22 pages, full color, amazing art, amazing color, and a cover by Eric Powell of the Goon for $1.99. It's not even $2. So it's $1.99 for 22 pages, full color. You'll figure out real quick if this is going to be something you're going to dig or not.
And we think you'll dig it. That's the Drunk Dorks final say on that one.
Well,
we're pretty sure you're going to dig it.
Me wetting my pants over it wasn't good enough. I mean, I think they should know we like it.
Nice. Yeah, you might want to change your pants when we get off of here.
I'll be more restrained next time I see you in person, I promise.
I don't want you to be.
Well, then kid gloves are off.
Yeah, I think it would be great for someone to get so excited they wet their pants right in front of my table. That'd be,
I love it.
Hopefully it'd be carpet so people don't slip later.
And thank you guys for listening. We'll be back again next week with another podcast. You can find us on our website, drunkdorks.com, which we're working on revamping right now. We're going to have a whole new layout, and it's going to be way better than the one we have now, but our old one is still up, so go check it out. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, anything that has a thing. We have a thing on it. So
if we don't, we will.
Yeah. So thanks so much for listening. We'll see you guys next week, and till then, keep it dorky.